Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Rory with Roar in the Jungle, and today we're recapping the Week 2 Thursday night football game, Bengals versus Browns. And it's not pretty. But first, the new intro. Boom. First on the docket is the one, the only Joe Burrow. He played phenomenal this game. He had some rookie mistakes, like it's gonna happen. He's a rookie, duh. But he doesn't really look like it. Like he looks like a seasoned veteran out there on the field. And honestly, he was the best player on the field on the Bengals side tonight because God knows the rest of the team had trouble getting started and continue playing throughout the game. Honestly, like it just he was the only source of energy that I felt during the entire game. Honestly, of course there were some plays from Joe Mixon, but he didn't really get going either. But Joe Burrow, I believe he's 37 for 61, I believe it is, which is to put the ball into a rookie's hand that much and expect to win the game is, it is just unheard of. I think he's actually had the most completions from a rookie since like the 60s, so that's insane. And especially in week 2 of his rookie year. So, that tells you a lot about the Bengals right now. So, man. Joey B is the guy of the future. He is the future of the franchise. And the Bengals need to protect him. Jesus Christ. Get him an offensive line. Oh, remember when we were like, yeah, put Fred Johnson there for Bobby Hart because it's going to be an improvement. Well, we found out tonight that that is not true. Fred Johnson was god awful. Like from literally start to end, he did practically nothing. Like he was not good. It's not like the rest of the line played any much better. Jonah Williams allowed some pressures. I don't think he allowed a sack, but he allowed some pressures, and he saved the hell out of Joe Burrow on one play from a free blitzer. And I believe it was a completion of T Higgins on that play. So that was pretty good. But offensive line wise, the right side of the line is gonna get Joe Burrow killed. Bobby Hart and Fred Johnson should never ever play next to each other again. Next on the docket is defense. And, well, what would have been defense if the Bengals actually played any D? They did have some bright spots, which I'll go over, very few. They had an intense goal line stand, which was amazing after they allowed Nick Chubb to get down to the 1, I believe, and they completely stuffed the Browns on that attempt at the goal line. So that was pretty great. And then William Jackson had his first pick of the year, so that's pretty good, third of his career. It's glad to see William Jackson really performing. Like I said in the preview, William Jackson needs to have a good game, which he was against Odell Beckham Jr. He won some, he lost some. That's going to happen at corner. You can't win them all. William Jackson played decent. I wouldn't say great, but decent. But as a whole, the Bengals defense was literally Swiss cheese. The Browns running game, the entire game was just shredding them from start to finish. And that allowed Baker Mayfield to use play action super effectively. I believe the touchdown that William Jackson gave up to Odell was off of play action. So, there's that. But, the Browns did invest a lot into their offensive line this past season. This off season, they picked up Jedrick Wills out of Alabama, which I love Jedrick Wills, and I believe they also signed Jack Conklin from Tennessee. So that's an upgrade right there. And they also, I believe, traded for Janovich, I think a 7th rounder. So they really the Browns and Stefanski really wanted to improve the run even more from last year, which I think Nick Chubb was the, I believe, second leading rusher in the league. So that was, the Browns are really leaning into the run, and I wish the Bengals would do the same. Like, we really need offensive linemen now. But defense, the linebackers, you could tell that they are young. They are young. Jermaine Pratt was getting eaten alive. Josh Bynes didn't have the game that I hoped he would have, but also he didn't play horrible, but didn't play good either. He was very middle of the road. You could tell that the Bengals defense was missing Geno Atkins and Mike Daniels. The defensive tackles were pretty much just DJ Reader and Covington, which in the beginning they didn't play terrible. Covington actually saw a flash on a few plays. I think he had a TFL on Nick Chubb on one play, which was pretty crazy. Good pickup from the Bengals with Covington, but that DT rotation, you could tell, was really porous. They're really missing Geno and Mike Daniels. And on the whole, the defense played soft, but I don't think that that's going to be the normal thing going forward. Hopefully we can get it together. I mean, to be honest, like, I think the Browns are going to do that to a lot of teams this year. It just so happens that, we got down on the scoreboard, so the Browns could enact their running game to the effect that they did. Also, the Bengals got zero pressure on Baker Mayfield. They did not rush him at all, which was one of the things that I said needed to happen in order for the Bengals to win. Pretty much no pressure. Oh my God. Carlos Dunlap is looking old. He is looking nowhere near like the pass rusher he used to be. His engine looks like it's off. He's looking slow. Looks like he's just there for a paycheck. Carl Lawson he almost got Baker for a sack in the very beginning, but overran his pursuit and got, blocked out of the play, and then Baker Mayfield ran for a first down for 7 yards. But pressure-wise, like, it just was non-existent for the Bengals, and that was one of the key reasons for the loss, honestly. So let's talk about wide receivers from the Bengals. I'll start with the good. Tyler Boyd had a pretty good game, 74 yards and a touchdown. Mike Thomas played really well, and it makes sense why he has his spot on the roster right now. He played very well. I believe he had like 3 or 4 catches in the game and 1 touchdown, so that was good too. Bad. AJ Green did not look like the AJ Green of old. He, even on his catches, I think his first catch, he alligator armed it, and it just happened to be in front of him and was able to bring it in. AJ, it looks like the age and the injuries are catching up to him. I really hope not. I love AJ Green. He's literally the first Bengals jersey that I ever bought, honestly, because that's all I could afford. That's like, I got into the Marine Corps, had a paycheck, I bought a Bengals AJ Green jersey. So there. But AJ Green looks like he's getting up there in age, or it's just a confidence thing. I don't know. But Denzel Ward was on his ass all night. Like, he was right there. He broke up a lot of plays. Thank God Joe didn't throw an interception while throwing to AJ. But he just locked up. Denzel Ward locked up AJ the entire night. And speak of the devil, John Ross again. John Ross looks like he's totally checked out of football. Just in general, he just looks like he just doesn't care, man. His stat line for the night was 0. He caught 0 passes. And I believe he was targeted like 5 times. Not a single catch? Really, John? You're supposed to be this super twitchy, fast guy, and how? Like, separation should be an easy thing for you. It looks like he doesn't care, and honestly, if you've watched just go watch John Ross plays in general. Like, he has some big plays. Yes, he does have some big plays, but that's a fraction of his total play time. If you watch John Ross just normally, he's not crisp on his routes. He doesn't fight for the ball. He doesn't try to win his routes besides on goes, and then whenever the ball is around his area, he doesn't try and go get it. John Ross is he's my biggest mistake for a pick in probably the last 5 years, and we've had some doozies. We've had some bad picks. Sorry, I forgot about Abuehi. Oh my god, Abuehi. Oh my god. Actually, you know what? It's probably Abuehi and then Ross. But like, I have proof. I'll show. I'll put it in the video. Like, I'll show you how I reacted whenever we drafted John Ross. Like, I was never sold on him, even coming from college. His injury history was insane then too. I believe he had like one ultra productive year, but out of like 4, come on now. John Ross, the Bengals just need to part ways with him. I think John Ross would look good on the Chiefs because pretty much all they do is, crossing routes and go routes pretty much because Pat Mahomes can just put it up there. But I don't want to see John Ross back with the Bengals. I don't think he's good for the team. I think that he is a low confidence beta male wide receiver. Last but not least, let's talk about Bengals Titans. Joe Burrow's first career touchdown was to CJ Uzomah, and it was a beautiful 21-yard strike. It was right on the money, and CJ ran the route perfectly. I believe CJ had 4 receptions for like 42 yards on the day, but sadly, I don't think that he's going to be back this year. He had an Achilles injury, which, if you watch the play, it did not look pretty. It looked like that Richard Sherman image from a few years ago whenever he was still a Seahawk, but hopefully he comes back. I like CJ as a tight end. I feel like he's really grown into a key piece for our offense, but his time finally came. Drew Sample showed out and showed he can be a really, really good safety valve. And if he develops even further, I think he could be generic Tyler Eifert. Hopefully without the injuries, because I think he has a bigger, nicer body that can absorb more punishment. But Drew Sample looked good, man. That second-round pick finally makes sense. It's just not to know now. I just hope that it keeps going, that the Bengals keep feeding him the ball, because I think him and Joe are going to have something special in the future. Joe Burrow loves throwing inside, and especially the tight ends. Ask Thaddeus Moss. He knows. But yeah, the tight ends really showed out for Burrow tonight. Drew Sample, I think, is going to be our tight end 1 in the future. Hopefully CJ can come back, because I feel like 2 tight end sets would be a good thing in the future, especially with Joe Burrow. Like, he loves his tight ends, and it's just it's hard to read a 2 tight end or a 1 tight end look, because are they blocking or are they going out for a pass? You can do a lot more things. I want to see the Bengals not run so much three wide receiver sets. I want them to switch a little more. I know Joe Burrow's really good with empty sets, but for him to keep developing into the quarterback of the future, the offense is gonna have to be varied. He can't just go out there and run no huddle for an entire second half again. That can't happen. And not only that, run game. It's harder to predict run game with a tight end on the line. That's just that's football basics. But that does it for my recap of Week 2 Bengals Browns Thursday Night Football. I hope you enjoyed. If you could, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell. Really helps out with growing the channel. And Hoo-day, it's a new day. Welcome to the Roar. Peace. Boof.